Welcome to In the Reads, the podcast of San Jose State University's Read Magazine, California's oldest literary journal. I'm your host, Ian Meadows. This episode, I'm with BENJII, an accomplished artist that has won numerous awards and publications. This includes our very own Mary Blair Award for our 157th issue for his work of the Siren, the Cart, and DreamCatcher. Welcome, BENJII. So, BENJII, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm 20 years old. I'm currently studying drawing and painting at OCAT University in Canada. And yeah, I look to become a professional artist sooner or later.
Canada, that's quite far from the West Coast over here.
Yeah. Where are
um,
you guys currently at? California or?
oh yeah, we're in the Bay Area, California.
That's nice. It's way
What's
better than
can
over here. It's pretty cold.
Oh
To
dang.
say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 80 degrees over here.
And you guys are probably nice all year long. And for us, it's like winters are pretty rough, but
Oh
summers
yeah,
are
it's
nice. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's actually been kind of bipolar over here recently.
Really.
Yeah, like I guess for the past 2 weeks it's been quite warm, and um then like before that, like we just like had a storm.
So yeah, I like totally get it. Yeah, like the crazy weather and stuff like that keeps changing
Uh,
all the time.
yeah, climate change.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I noticed that you take some inspiration from Greek mythology here with your art piece Siren here.
hmm
Would would you say you do that with your other pieces of work?
But the body of work I'm working on right now, yeah, I very much focus on mythology and like operas and stuff like that, and I feel like mythology is a gateway for me to delve into that world of fantasy and more like surreal works. It's also fun and challenging to, I say, create like visual narratives from those mythologies and like reimagine them myself in a way in like a contemporary aspect.
Yeah, I like how it's kind of like it's titled Siren and it's kind of a play on it because people, when they think of sirens, they typically think of mermaids, but when you actually look back on it, they're birds. And you
Yeah,
got like a
yeah.
bird cage.
Mhm. And yeah, I think Siren in the mythology, right? They use their voice to lure people, and I feel like in here I interpret a little differently, like as a bird cage, luring the birds into it, the trap. So that motif of like the surrealist and also poetic kind of way is like what I would use mythology to base off of.
Can you possibly tell me like more about like certain influences in your art of mythology?
I think before I used to read a lot of mythology when I was younger too. And so those stories, even though they're dated quite a while, people still come back to them because they find meaning in it, right? I think the same notion follows for artwork as well. If the work is great and it's stand the test of time, people will continually come back to the work.
Would you say you take any specific mythologies to inspire you?
Things like Siren, but not like specific. I try to read and research a broad range of them as well. Like the Minotaur is what I'm working on right now. Prometheus, also for the piece I'm working.
Would you say the same for Dreamcatcher and Cartier?
No, those are more based on card is more based on like real life, I would say. I don't know how else to put it. And Dreamcatcher, I like to play with the phrase itself to catch dreams. And yeah, I think mythologies would fall into that aspect of like using phrase, idioms, stories, and then from there on developing works that have a visual narrative, if that makes sense.
Yeah, one piece that I really liked was cart here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not so sure if you are you like a gamer or anime fan by chance?
Play video games sometimes.
Well, there's this artist called Takashi Tora. Yeah, it reminded me of Takashi Tora here with the just the metal head here. He's the creator of like Nier Automata, which just has a lot of robots in it. And in his first game, Nier, I believe, he had this like one guy just with a big metal helmet over his head.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it kind of reminded me of.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, so I noticed a pattern with in your paintings. You typically kind of have this misty figure or presence in it.
Could you elaborate on the?
This kind of like misty presence. There's this other misty presence you kind of noticed in Cart as
Yeah, yeah.
well. And then
Mm-hmm.
the mist kind of like takes shape a little bit abstract here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a signature of yours typically?
Uh, for acrylic paints, I'll say so. I like to dilute my acrylics a lot to create effects like that. I feel like a lot of people often don't do that because in like contemporary art, it's very not exactly frowned down upon, but people tend to avoid that type of technique, right? But I think if you want to stand out, you have to experiment with techniques that people often use, even with acrylics, especially.
But yeah, I think I understand what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though I have very little experience working with art, I do remember working with acrylics as a kid in like art class and noticing
Mm-hmm.
kind of like if you use the side of an acrylic crayon, it does kind of produce a little faded, kind of misty
Mm-hmm.
image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's I'd say pretty risky as well. Maybe that's why people tend to avoid it because once it starts flowing and dripping, you either have to, I guess, paint over it. That takes time, and like if you mess up right over important areas, it would be pretty hard to recover. So yeah, I like a bit of taking risk in my work as well.
Out of these three, which would you say was the hardest one?
Oh, for sure, Siren. That piece alone, I think I worked on it over like 2.5 months, I say, over the span. It's like
Impressive.
something so different that I've never done, right? And usually with a piece like that, I would say I'm pretty like cautious of where I'm heading next, but the visual narrative, the techniques of the renderings, anatomy here even, this is just what I've never done before and I'm really proud of it.
Did you have a specific teacher that like mentored you and inspired you to create art? Or
Not
were you
one
self
specific teacher.
did you have a specific mentor or were you self-taught?
Uh, I never had one singular mentor in my life, right? Like for high school and even now in university, I tend to, gather as much knowledge and experience from teachers and professors as much as I can. And even that's not enough for me. So I also reach out to like the internet, stuff like that for artists that I look to for inspiration. And yeah,
What artists do you really like that you go towards for inspiration?
the most. Nowadays I'll say James Jean is a pretty big influence on me. Uh, Marguerite is also another big influence. Fun fact: James Jean actually lived in the Bay Area. I'm pretty sure. So
Oh, he worked on the art for Mother. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, that's him.
Pretty art. Yeah.
He definitely like I would say inspired me the most
I
from like
think that's. Oh,
mhm,
sorry. Um, that looks like the
uh
capybara. Yeah,
the capybara.
or not the capybara. The kappa. I think it's like some Japanese thing, some Japanese creature.
um like his journey of going to art school, like bring himself up as an artist, like that definitely inspired me from like the technical skills that he had to work hard, pretty hard for, and like putting himself out there as well. Yeah, no one else does it like him.
If you had to pick an artist, living or dead, who would you choose? Like to sit down for a meal?
Sit down for a meal.
Or let me rephrase that. If you had to pick an artist, living or dead, who would you sit down with?
It's a hard question, also. you
Take your
got you got a
time.
lot, you got a lot of hard questions today,
That's my job.
for sure. I mean, the thing, it's hard, right? Because you look at the artist, sometimes you like their work and stuff, but their actual personality might not even be what you're drawn to, funnily enough. But if I have to pick one, I'll say Mark Rothko. I think from his writings, I really enjoy his like intellectual personality as well. And yeah, I'll definitely have dinner with him. Why not?
What drew you to Read Magazine?
I got sent like an invite from my school, my university, that I can apply to the application and stuff like that. And so yeah, I just gave it a shot, and here I am.
Was that on
Surprisingly,
was that on Submittable?
oh yeah, it was on submittable, but like they send it through like the school email first. It's like a message out there to everyone in the program and stuff like that.
So, what does art mean to you?
It's a big question.
Yeah, take your time. Yeah, we
Take my
got
time.
editing. Yeah, we got editing here. So yeah.
That's cool. To me, I think art ultimately is like an experience, right? And as the artist, I'm like inclined to create the experience for the viewers as well. But at the end of the day, if the experience you create is meaningful, provoking stuff, and that's like worthwhile for the viewers, it means you're doing something good.
Yeah, that's nice. Um, yeah, I'm a writer personally. So yeah, art and writing, it's kind of similar in a way, but
Mhm.
kind of different because I'm more of a wordsmith. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, it's just about reaching people, I guess.
Yep, for sure.
You have a ritual or a habit to get into the art process.
Short habits. I would say music for sure. Like that's the one thing I can't do without. Like to even get started, stuff like that. So while some people like to like warm up, sketch, stuff like that, or do small studies before they get into like a large piece, I start by indulging myself with music to get into that zone, and then from there I proceed to the actual works themselves.
Do you have a favorite artist you like to listen to?
Favorite artists, definitely The Weeknd for sure, and Daft Punk. I love them so much.
Oh, I love The Weekend.
He's awesome.
What's your favorite song if you had to pick from The Weekend?
So all of them. It's
Oh,
like the
all of
only
them.
correct answer, man. Yeah, man. Like one favorite song for sure. House of
Yeah, I think.
Balloons, probably. Like, that's just so.
Oh, House of Buildings.
House of Balloons.
Oh, Balloons. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Like for me, I just listen to a lot of just music, whatever really. And I
Mhm.
just do you have a favorite place you go to by chance to get into the mood?
Like studio. I mean, I'm just in the studio, like my home studio, or sometimes school as well. But place don't really matter to me as long as I get into like the mental zone. That's what matters the most.
Yeah, like for me as a writer, I like to just go out and be in nature and like put in my earbuds and yeah, just like yeah, get into the mood there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I guess with writing you can just travel, so that's a lot easier.
oh
Versus for
yeah,
me,
true.
I
Oh
can't
yeah,
really.
because I was talking to Hannah Locke, who was also an artist recently, and
Mm,
yeah, her process is like I guess quite different from you. Like she's more of like oil painting and sketching.
mm.
Or what materials do you use?
Just about anything: oil, acrylics, graphite, charcoal, watercolor before, and yeah. But like, I guess my process is pretty much different from other people as well.
How do you overcome artist block?
That's also another big question.
Take your time, Pastor.
Yes, sir. Uh, I think just forcing myself through it all. 'Cause I actually do get the block a lot, right? Partially because I'm very keen on what I make. I don't want to make versus like, well, some people likes to create and then edit over time. Like if they don't like that piece, they paint over or throw it out, stuff like that. Whereas for me, I'm very like Tarantino like. If I don't feel like inclined to the piece's vision or like visual narrative of the piece is like strongly compelling, then I wouldn't waste my time on it. Yeah, because of that, it's kind of usually takes me a long time and it tires me out a lot. But just sketching, I think forcing myself to do sketches and from like there editing the sketches to see what I like and not, that helps me through the block for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned Tarantino there. Yeah, he's like one of my favorite artists out there, like director.
For sure, yeah.
Are you a big fan of him?
Not the biggest fan, but I liked his idea about like a body of work, like creating stuff that's like only quality versus like experimenting a lot. Do you know where I'm heading? Or like am I not making sense?
I think I get what you're trying to say. He has a very particular perfectionist kind of style
Yes,
in
yes,
a way.
yes. Yeah. It's like he's like working in what do you call it? An oeuvre. It's a hard word to pronounce, but he likes to have a vision for the body of work, like the oeuvre. And yeah, just focusing on that, creating quality works inspires me too.
So, do you do commissions by chance?
Uh, I would love to, but as of right now, I'm not working on any commissions. Pretty much just personal works, stuff like that. Building a body of work for exhibition coming up as well.
Oh, what are you doing? What's the exposition's name?
Uh, can't say too much about it, but it's gonna
Oh,
be
top
yeah, it's
secret.
gonna be yeah, it's pretty top secret. um, yeah, it's gonna be a solo exhibition in Toronto, downtown Toronto. In the summer, of course. I wouldn't want to host one in the winter and force people to plow through the snow to get to it. But yeah, it's gonna be great. A lot of big pieces. The Siren's gonna be there too.
So, you wouldn't consider yourself a full-time artist?
Not right now. I'll say part-time artist, part-time student. I like to, take my time and learn about not only like my abilities of what I can do, but also um, just looking at the scope of the art world, the industry, stuff like that.
All right. So, do you have a website or social media where people can check you out?
Yeah, I do have a website. It's gonna be benji.top. You can go there, and all my socials, emails, and handles are gonna be there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me to the podcast.
And thank you for listening. You can catch Benji at his website, benji.top/above, and us at readmagazine.org. Bye.